Welcome to Manchester as we begin fight week for one of the most anticipated heavyweight world title fights in recent years. The unbeaten, heavy-handed Fabio Wardley makes the first defence of his crown against the equally heavy-handed, the dangerous former world champion Daniel Dynamite Dubois. We are expecting a 50-50 don't blink showdown, and it all starts today with the workout. We are in the Great Northern Amphitheatre here in the heart of Manchester as we count down now to Saturday night, to the big one, to Don't Blink, to the 50-50 heavyweight showdown between Fabio Wardley and Daniel Dubois. And look who I've got with me. Manchester born, Manchester bred. I'm sure when he dies, he'll be Manchester dead. It is Zach Miller. How are you, sir?
I will be. And come on. What a night of boxing this is going to be, and it's starting here.
You said to me earlier, you said, Dev, we're in Manchester, which has become the mecca of boxing.
I believe it is. I believe it's coming the new mecca of British boxing, shall I say. You know, we've got the Ale Arena, the Co-op Live, and we're packing them out all the time. We've got another great card here on Saturday night, and come on, is it the best card of the year? I think it is.
Look, I think it might be. Obviously, look, the main event gets all the attention, a lot of the attention, because it's the World Heavyweight Championship, because it's Fabio Wardley and Daniel Dubois. But top to tail, there is so much on this show, and we're going to see all of the undercard fighters, televised ones anyway, in that ring very shortly, because this is the workout. Now, Zach, talk me through a workout in terms of from the fighter's perspective. You don't want to give too much away, right? But you might want to have a little shakeout. Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, of course. I think a lot will use it. They're tapering down on fight week anyway, so they'll use the open workout maybe as even the last session. They'll have a little loosen off, you know, they'll play to the crowd a little bit. But like you said, you don't want to give too much away. You can't be showing your opponent what you've been working on as such, but they'll get in there. Some might give us more than others. Some might hit the pads. Some might dance around the ring for a couple of minutes. Who knows? But I think it's just all about getting there, publicising the fight and just staying cool, you know. You've got to do it. It's part of the fight week.
What would you do today out here in this Great Northern Amphitheatre if Zach Miller was working out ahead of Saturday night?
I'd have to get on the pads and I'd have to light him up a little bit for a couple of minutes.
Give us a little dance, would you?
Yeah, give you a little dance, you know. Yeah. But it's a bit nippy out here, so I think I'd have to try and get myself a little bit warm more than anything.
Yeah, it is a tad nippy, hence the jacket. But talk to me about this main event then. I mean, it's got the world talking, and they call it Don't Blink. It's just perfect, right?
Well, you can't blink. I think I've seen the stat before, they've averaged 4 rounds.
Yes, well done.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? They're just flattening people in there, and who knows, someone might get flattened on Saturday night. It could go either way. It's a fantastic fight. They're both great for the sport, and come on, it's going to be fantastic.
Well, I think with Fabio Wardley, I mean, it's been a well-documented story that he shouldn't be here, right? A former white-collar fighter who won all of his white-collar fights, all 4 of them, turned pro, and now he's a world heavyweight champion. It's a story like no other, Zach.
It's unheard of. I remember saying it before. I said he shouldn't really be here. But he's earned his way to be here now. He's come across every hurdle. And look where he is. He's at the top of the sport. Who knows who he's going to fight after this fight? This is going to be a massive win on Saturday night, whoever gets it. Yeah,
well, I'm sure Daniel Dubois doesn't care who Fabio Wardley is going to fight after this fight. He's very much in the Daniel Dubois business. Tell me this, were you surprised that Fabio chose Daniel as his first defence? Remember, he wasn't a mandatory, he didn't have to fight him, but he's picked out Daniel Dubois.
I think Fabio's one of them people, whether it was when he was back at work or whether he's boxing, I think he wants to set himself a challenge. Yeah. And that's what he's done every time out there. And I think this is a very, very big challenge, maybe his biggest. And for Daniel, it's his biggest fight. Your next fight's always the biggest, and you want what's next. So I think Fabio, being in the mindset that he's got, he's a winner, and he's going to want to keep winning. And this fight, if you can't get up for this, then you're not getting up for anything.
Yeah, I think it's that. I think it's an element of getting up for the fight. Fabio's talked about, you know, he's been asked, why have you picked Daniel Dubois? Why have you picked this dangerous challenger who hits just as hard as you? And he said, because I know there's easier options out there, but if I take them, I wouldn't be able to look at myself in the mirror. He just wouldn't be able to do it.
That's what I mean. That says everything, doesn't it? He's got up and he's wanted to fight Daniel Dubois. Now that is it's a big task, and it's a big man in front of you with a lot of power. But fair play to Fabio, as you said, it's come from the white collar. Me and Daniel was in the amateurs together, both born in the same year, so I've seen Daniel come through the amateurs. He's done it the traditional route, shall I say. Fabio's come from white collar, working in an office. It's one end of the scale to the other. It's chalk and cheese, but they're meeting on Saturday night, and what a fight.
No, what a fight. And Fabio Wardley, of course, former recruitment consultant. So if you are a recruitment consultant right now, there is hope you could go on to become a world heavyweight champion. What a story, Zach.
What a story. I don't think... I'd be very, very surprised if you heard that story again.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Very surprised.
I agree with you. But the story of Daniel Dubois, as you say, more traditional. Yeah. I mean, he's been boxing since he was 7, 8 years old, gone through the amateurs, grown through the amateurs. If you knew him, he was probably doesn't look like what he does now, right? As a kid.
He was a very good amateur. Yeah. I remember him boxing for Wrexham, a very well-known club in the country. And you've got to say, they've got boxing in the genes. You've got to look at Caroline. Yeah. You've got young Solomon coming through now. It's a totally end of the scale to Wardley, shall we say, but yeah, Daniel's done it the traditional route, and it's a long time he's been boxing for, probably from 10, 11-year-old. You've got to stick it out. There's probably been ups and downs, injuries, and look where he is now.
Well, he's been programmed, hasn't he? He's been, and that's what you point to. You know, it's like a genetic thing, but the father is very much programming his children to become warriors. Caroline Dubois, a world champion. Solomon Dubois, who was yay high when I first met him, is suddenly yay high. I mean, he's pulling up trees in the amateurs as well. This is fighting blood running through Dubois.
It's got to be. It's got to be. There's some fantastic genes there, and clearly can punch all of them as well. I wish I could have a bit of them genes, and I might have to go 12 rounds every time, but it's great to see, you know. I remember seeing Daniel years ago when we were kids, and he was just like Solomon. Yeah. Now look at him, he's a man mountain, isn't he?
He most certainly is. But on the Dubois thing, this is, you know, people are commending Fabio Wardley, and rightly so, for picking out Dubois, such a difficult opponent. What about Daniel Dubois bouncing off that loss to Alexander Usyk at Wembley Stadium, a heartbreaking loss? The first fight that he's picked, that he's taken, is against Fabio Wardley, a guy who could just knock him out.
Again, we were saying about Wardley, how his mindset is, but you've got to look at Daniel. The way he's come back from them fights and shown grit and determination to come back and knock Anthony Joshua out, it's massive, and it shows that he wants what's next. He wants to be world champion. That's it.
Do you know what? I feel like he's not getting the respect that he deserves this week. I think people aren't appreciating that in the last few fights, he boxed Usyk, he boxed Miller, he boxed Joshua, he boxed Hrgovic, and he boxed Usyk again. It's only Usyk that beat him. He stopped the other guys. Give him the respect he deserves,
it's
right?
Some resume there. You've just reeled off 4 or 5 names, and they're all world level. Yeah. And Daniel had a lot of hype about him as soon as he turned professional. The way he looked, the way he was knocking people out, and he did step up early. Yeah. And once you start having these big fights, you can't go back. No. And he's not. He's been beat, and he's come back. And like you said, he's showing that records don't mean nothing, you know. He's coming back, knocking people out again and again, so it's fantastic what he's doing.
Yeah, and that was a stunning knockout at Wembley Stadium over Anthony Joshua. It feels like Daniel Dubois at 28 years old, because he's been around such a while, he's sort of become this kind of grizzled, like, kind of war horse now. He's taken up a new role. It's like a third career. He was that young kid coming through, then he was like a champion, now he's on the comeback.
Yeah, he burst on the scene, didn't he, knocking everyone out, and then, like you say, it's like he's been about a lot longer than he has, but he's still only young. He's still coming into his prime. He's got years left, you know. You see some of these heavyweights, you've got to look at Derek Chisora. Look at him, he's been about some years now, that man, and Daniel's got plenty of fights left in him, and this is just another one on the card.
Do you know what's fascinating, right? A little stat went out from DAZN earlier in this week, which I actually didn't clock at the time. They both made their professional debut on the same night, back in April 2017, April 8th, I think it was, and they've taken their various paths to get to this point now, and here we are on Saturday night. They will collide for the WBO World Heavyweight Championship. I think it's time to get this workout underway. Our MC, of course, for the day is the one, the only Thomas Treiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the workout for Don't Blink. A great night of World Championship Boxing to be held this Saturday, May 9th from Co-op Live right here in Manchester, England. It is all being brought to you by Frank Warren for Queensberry in association with Platform Sports, along with their great sponsors. Mr. Q Casino, That Prize Guy, Global Next Trade, Flexi Mize, Riyadh Season, and Vow Nutrition. a big thanks to those great sponsors. Well, a few reminders, ladies and gentlemen. Final few tickets remain, and they are available via Ticketmaster. And don't forget, you can watch it live worldwide exclusively on DAZN. Buy now at DAZN.com. Let's now get the workout started. And first, welcome to the ring. Competing Saturday in a scheduled 6-round super middleweight contest. He comes to us from Tashkent, Uzbekistan. A stellar amateur, becoming a 2025 world champion. He is now undefeated as a professional with 1 victory. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Javokhir Ummataliev.
Well, here is the young 21-year-old youth world amateur champion with an awful lot of fanfare. And Zach Miller, you're familiar with his work. I believe you've seen him before.
Yeah, I've seen him on the BBC, you know, when they've been covering, I think it was the World Championships. And he's some talent. He's some talent, and it's going to be very good to see him in action on Saturday night.
I do wonder what we'll get from him workout-wise as well, because I had a little look on his TikTok, Ummataliev, and he's a bit of a mover and a groover, much like yourself, Zach.
Right, well, they've got the tunes on here today, Dev, so have. You never know, he might start doing a bit of slipping and rolling with the feet. Never mind the edge, you know, he's going to be slipping and sliding in there, but I've seen the coach, he's got the pads in his hand.
Yeah.
The gloves are there. He might have a little touch on the pads for us, you know, he's having a bit of a shake off here now for the camera, shall we say.
Yeah, super talent. One of 2 Uzbeks featuring on this show on Saturday night. The other, of course, the heavyweight giant, perhaps a sleeping giant in the heavyweight division in Bakhodir, Jalolov.
Yeah, he's just having a bit of a loose nothing, not giving us too much.
Big fan of the camera going right in there and us getting a bit of shadow boxing to camera.
Here we go. Gloves are going on.
Gloves are going on, indeed. Light heavyweight action coming up on Saturday night. Ummataliev has fight number 2 ahead of what looks to be a promising career. He's built quite the reputation, one of the most promising young talents in international amateur boxing. Youth world amateur champion from Tashkent. Well, if you're just joining us now, this is the workout ahead of Saturday night's huge showdown on DAZN. Daniel Dubois challenges Fabio Wardley for the WBO World Heavyweight Championship. A 50-50 showdown between 2 Brits with the ultimate prize at stake. We absolutely cannot wait for that one. I'm Dev Sani. Joining me is a featherweight sensation, Zach Miller. And Zach, you said something very strange to me earlier. You said, do you know what? I'd like to just taste a little punch from Dubois or Wardley. You weirdo. Why'd you say that?
I've said it for a while, mate. It's just love to feel a good stiff jab. Just to see what it feels like. Yeah, I've had them off middleweights and stuff like that, but let's get one off a real heavyweight. You know, let's have a feel of it right on the head.
You're not right, you.
Do you not fancy it?
I don't fancy it. Most certainly not. I also don't fancy anything from this fella here that we're looking at. Javokhir Ummataliev, world amateur champion from Tashkent, Uzbekistan.
Yep.
They are just bred differently in that part of the world.
They are. Over that side of, you know, the Eastern Europe, you've got the Kazakhs, the Uzbeks, and they can all fight.
Yeah.
They can all fight. They've all got a similar style about them, and they can all fight, they can all punch, and I think they look as hard as well.
Yeah, there is a kind of quiet sort of sternness about them. And also, I was doing my research on some of the Uzbekistan athletes. They tend to actually be like gymnasts and stuff like that as well. So they're either very flexible or they can beat you up.
And I bet they've got a lot of natural strength as well.
I'd imagine so.
It helps.
I would imagine so.
Thank you very much to Javokhir Ummataliev.
Will be fight number 2 for Ummataliev on Saturday night. Live, of course, on DAZN. And he looks the part, as does Thomas Streiber.
As always.
And now let's welcome to the ring, competing Saturday in a scheduled 4-round super welterweight contest. He comes to us from Dublin, Ireland, undefeated with 1 win. That 1 win comes by knockout. Here is Bobby Flood.
Well, there is a flood warning in Manchester on Saturday night. Bobby Flood, fight number 2. And if his debut was anything to go by, well, my goodness, we are in for a treat. Some talent, Zach.
Some talent, and that was some line there, Dev, with a flood warning.
I've used it every time, to be honest. I used it at the launch presser.
You keep using that as much as you need to, innit?
I think we should.
But no, I've seen there's been a bit of a clip going around of his debut, hasn't there?
Yes. I mean, I think he did like views in the millions. It was over within like 30 odd seconds.
Yeah.
Just really set about his guy, and he looked so good.
Yeah, I've seen a clip doing the rounds this week, and I actually remember watching the fight, and he did look so good, but it was for such a short amount of time, so hopefully we get to see a little bit more on Saturday night.
And maybe that's an omen for the main event on Saturday night. Of course, Fabio Wardley, Daniel Dubois. Zach, as you mentioned at the top of the show, I mean, Fabio Wardley, his fights on average go 3.9 rounds. Daniel Dubois go on average 4 rounds. This one's going to go early on Saturday.
It's going to go early, and I think they've got their name to a T, this one. Yeah. Don't blink, they say. And I don't think you're going to be able to. Don't go and get yourself a drink. Don't go and get a cup of coffee. Do not blink.
Forget it. Don't blink. And probably don't blink when Bobby Flood's in the ring as well. 21-year-old elite talent, 10-time Irish national champion, European gold medalist. Trained, of course, there you can see by Stephen Smith. Some fighter he was.
Yeah, Stephen Smith was some fighter. We've been down at the gym, the lads from my gym have been doing a bit of sparring down there, and he's a very good coach. Yeah. You can see he's got an eye to detail, and Bobby's a quality fighter, and he wouldn't be with Stephen if he wasn't a good coach, you know what I mean? And I hope we'll just get to see a little bit more of him on Saturday night.
Yeah, I hope so as well. There's been a lot of whispers sort of around boxing, around Queensberry, as to how talented he is and how elite a talent he could go on to be. Might be one of the best talents in Europe right now, young Bobby Flood.
Well, you've got to look at it. It's a 10-time national Irish champion. Ireland's known for producing good fighters, and if you win the national championships 10 times over there, then you're doing something right.
They don't give them away, Zach.
They don't. You've got to go and win them, and that's what he's gone and done 10 times over.
Good to see the Smith brothers kind of transitioning into the next phase of their career. They've given so much to the sport in terms of their fighting. All held British titles at one time. Remember that iconic picture?
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
now,
great achievement.
Imagine being the mum and dad of them.
Oh.
Super proud. Super, super proud. And look at them now. They're giving back to the sport.
Yeah.
They're managing, they're coaching. Probably putting on their own show soon and stuff like that. But it's great to see them involved in boxing. I think, being a boxer myself, I think that's what I want to do. Once the sport's said and done and my career's done, I'd like to give back to the sport myself and help these younger fighters coming through.
Yeah, good shout, good shout. It's always good to see Paul Smith as well. Great pundit, great manager. He's always around the sport. And Stephen Smith here, building up a bit of a stable of fighters that he's training, that he's working with up at the Rotunda. Well, I think the flood might be over.
The flood's over. We've survived it. We've survived it.
Thank you very much to Bobby Flood. Gavin, Gwynne. And now we welcome to the ring, competing Saturday in a scheduled 10-round contest. It will be for the vacant WBA International Super Lightweight Championship. He comes to us from Wales with a record of 18 wins, 4 defeats, 2 draws, 5 wins by knockout. Here is Gavin Gwynne.
Well, Gavin Gwynne, former Welsh champion, British champion, Commonwealth champion, European champion. He's won plenty in his career.
He's had some career, and I don't think we've ever seen Gavin Gwynne in a boring fight.
No.
I don't think you'll ever see him in a boring fight. and he's not going to be in a boring fight on Saturday night. He's got Khalil Majid. Khalil's a good fighter, good slick boxer, but Gavin's quality. He's a true professional. He gets in there every time and he does his job, and he did one hard night's work.
He's an old school fighter, isn't he? He's one of those
who's
throwback, done it the hard way, away corner.
That's it.
Yeah, big fan of Gavin Gwynne, lovely bloke as well, and 36 years old. He's moving up in this fight up to 140 pounds. So largely his whole career has been at lightweight, but he's been a massive lightweight.
Yeah, he's a big lightweight. You've got to look at him there. He's tall, he's rangy, and how's he been making that? I don't know for all them years, but he'll be happier moving up now. But you've got to think, he's 36-year-old. He's looked after himself. That's how he's still going. You know, he's got the longevity in his career. He's not one of them who will go ballooning up in weight. You can see that, and that's why he's still boxing today at 36. Still looks fresh.
Definitely does look fresh. Of course, coming off a draw with Cameron Vong. I mean, I'm sure he's glad that this Cameron Vong chapter of his career is over now. Of course, they boxed twice. The first fight was well, let's just say it was a controversial decision that didn't go Gavin Gwynne's way. There was quite a lot of uproar from that. Eventually they did rematch. It was a draw, but I'm pretty sure Gavin Gwynne believes he won both fights.
Yeah, especially the first one. There was a lot of controversy, like you say, over that. But like you said, I bet Gavin's just glad that hurdle's passed now and he's on to the next. He won't be thinking about Cameron Vong. He's got Khalil Majid to think about.
Thank you very much to Gavin Gwynne. And now we welcome to the ring his opponent this Saturday. From Bolton, Lancashire, England, he was a 3-time amateur national champion, now undefeated as a professional with 16 wins, 4 wins by knockout. Here is Khalil Major Majid.
Well, this may be sink or swim for Khalil Majid. It is by far the toughest test of his so far unbeaten career. It's a step up in level against a veteran, grizzled, former European champion who's coming up in weight. And really, Khalil needs to stand out and make a point on Saturday.
He does. I think it's a fantastic fight. Gavin's at his stage in his career now where can he afford to get beat again? Khalil's on the way up. He needs to get the win. And it's going to be a great fight, like we're saying, but I've known Khalil a long time since the amateurs. I've watched him come through and know his dad well, and he's a lovely lad, and he's stuck true to the sport. He's a true professional. He does everything right, and I'm excited to see him on Saturday night. I seen him in there against Alex Murphy last time. That was a quality fight, turned into a tear-up, but yeah, it'd be good to see him on Saturday.
Yes.
It will be good to see Khalil Majid on Saturday, and it's good to see Gavin Gwynne. How are you, sir?
I'm back.
You're back
once again. Yeah, I'm feeling good, but I'm feeling brilliant. Obviously up at 10 stone, so a lot happier this week.
Yeah, that's exactly what you said, Zach. I'm sure he's going to be happier this
week. I was
week.
just saying, then you look fresh, Gav.
Yeah, do you know what, right? Normally in training camp, the last couple of weeks, you guys like training, don't they, making weight, got a spar, things like that. But I've been smiling the whole way through training camp, and I've been making improvements, whereas normally I'm just trying to work hard, whereas now I'm just trying to perfect my craft,
Yeah, of course, I bet you don't see it really till fight week, do you? Know the benefits of them extra few pounds.
Yeah, 100%. Like on Monday, obviously my nutritionist, he was like, look, we're going to have to up the calories. I was like, no problem at all.
Get them up.
Yeah, happy days, yeah. So that's a massive bonus for myself. And obviously the way I fight, I need them calories because I'm a high pressure sort of fighter, so I need to be feeling my best.
You've got to be fueled right, haven't you, for the way you...
Yeah.
It must be good to be fighting someone not called Cameron Vong for the first time in a while, right?
Yeah, it is, to be honest with you. Obviously, me and Cam had 2 great fights.
Thank you very much to Khalil Major Majid.
Well. The first fight I thought I won by a wide margin, and then the second fight could have gone either way, 2 rounds either way in my eyes after watching it back. But yeah, 2 great fights and 2 great performances for myself, I think, yeah.
Our next 2 fighters to the ring, competing Saturday in a scheduled 10-round contest. It will be for the WBA Intercontinental Light Heavyweight Championship. First, we welcome the challenger from right here, Manchester, England. 21 wins, 2 defeats, 10 wins by knockout. Here is Brad the Sting Ray.
Well, here comes Brad the Sting Ray, former European champion. Gavin Gwynne with us as well here, and Gavin, former European champion yourself. Big fight for you coming up on Saturday. It's a great belt to win, isn't it, that?
Yeah, 100%. And I think winning the European title, it pushes you on to that world level. Obviously, I just fell short, but it's a brilliant belt, and one that everyone wants to win as well.
How are we going to see your fight going on Saturday? I mean, Khalil Majid, right, unbeaten so far, hasn't really put a foot wrong against, I guess you're the veteran kind of in this fight. How are you seeing this one go?
It's going to be a shootout. I want a shootout. He wants a shootout. Let's have it.
Who wins a shootout out of you guys?
Me, 100% me. 7 days a week.
Okay, well, not long to wait. Can't wait to find out. Gavin, great to see you, my friend.
Thank you.
Best of luck,
nice
Gavin Gwynne. Let's take that off of you. Nice one, Gavin Gwynne. He wants a shootout, Zach.
Soldier's never in a boring fight, didn't
I can't wait. I'd love to see a shootout. And I wonder if we'll get a shootout here. I think this is a different kind of fight stylistically. Brad Ray takes on Liam Cameron, of course, on Saturday night. Former European champions, coming off that loss to Lyndon Arthur. Heartbreak for him. He lost his title that night.
He did, but he made a very, very good account of himself.
Yeah.
He put Arthur down. He mixed it with Arthur, and you've got to look at Arthur. He's been in there with the best, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's been in there with some quality opposition, been in with Bivol, been in with Yard, beat Yard. So it shows what level that is, and Brad's going to want to come back here and make a statement.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, yeah, as you say, Zach, he had Lyndon Arthur over in that fight, and Brad's talked about how perhaps he just pushed a little bit too hard to get the stoppage and found himself a little bit short of gas.
Yeah, of course, he jumped on him, didn't he? And he maybe used a little bit more energy than he wanted to, but Brad's looking well. I've seen some clips of him in the gym. I speak to Brad, and yeah, he's one of my mates, and I hope he goes in there on Saturday night and he does the job.
Well, it will be quite the job, because Liam Cameron is kind of at this resurgence in his career, and he's coming off a brilliant win against Troy Jones. And let's not forget, only a couple of fights ago, he was giving Ben Whittaker all that he could handle.
Yeah, he gave him a nightmare, didn't he? You know, we've seen the controversy over the top rope, but Liam Cameron's a quality fighter as well.
Thank you very much to Brad the Sting Ray. And now we welcome to the ring from Sheffield, England. His professional record, 24 wins, 7 defeats, 1 draw, 10 wins by knockout this Saturday. The reigning and defending WBA Intercontinental Light Heavyweight Champion, Liam the Cannonball Cameron.
Well, this is one of the feel-good stories in the sport. Liam Cameron has gone from the depths of despair, alcohol, addiction, all that could go wrong did go wrong, but he turned his life around, and he goes into Saturday night as a defending champion, Zach.
He does. He's got the belt. That's what he wanted. He's got the belt. The drive's being done. You know, the YouTube's flying, he's doing well, Liam. My mum and dad love him. I think they know more about Liam than he knows himself. But no, what a guy he is, and he's doing great, mate. Like you've said, he's come from the depths of despair.
Yeah.
And at the minute, he's doing fantastic for himself, his family. He should be proud.
Yeah, absolutely. And coming off a brilliant win where he won that WBA Continental belt against Troy Jones. It was actually on the same night that Brad Ray was in action. And here is the Sting Ray. How are you, sir? Please join us. Please join us. Now, Brad Ray, once you finished hugging Zach Miller, tell me a little bit about this fight on Saturday. That is your opponent on Saturday night, Liam Cameron. It will be quite some scalp for you.
Yeah, look, it's the perfect fight to get me back in the mix. But after the Lyndon loss, I didn't want to, have a bit of an easy run out, get back to winning ways. I wanted to get right back in there, and for me, Liam's a perfect fight. Great run of form at the moment, and beat him and right back in that title mix.
You boxed on the same show, so on the night that you boxed Lyndon Arthur, he beat Troy Jones. Did you get to be around him? Did you see him?
Thank you very much to Lee of the Cannonball
Nice guy, isn't he? You can't not like him.
Yeah.
But,
how can you not?
Yeah, you can't not like him, but it's boxing at the end of the day. You know, he's in my way, and Saturday night I have to move him out of my way, and then afterwards, you know, we can kiss and hug and be friends again, can't we?
You haven't stopped smiling since he's joined.
Listen, we've come a long way together, me and Brad, and it's just great to see, you know, another Manchester lad doing what we do, doing what we've worked hard for, and I'm just buzzing to see Brad on the big stage, you know, in another big fight. He's never shied away from no one, no opportunity has ever even phased him, you know what I mean, even from being kids, and he's got Liam Cameron in front of him on Saturday night, and Brad's going to do the job, I think. Are
you going to do the job?
He thought about not saying it then, didn't he?
Listen, give me your prediction before I let you go.
Look, I've said it all week. I've got a job to do, and that's get my hand raised. But the type of fighter I am, I want the knockout every time. If that's look, boxers are scared to say it. We all want the knockout. And sometimes you don't deliver, so you're scared to say it.
He should be called the tear-up every time.
Best of luck to you, Brad.
Nice,
You've got a job to do on Saturday, as has Thomas Treiber.
Our next two fighters competing Saturday in a scheduled 10-round heavyweight contest. We will first welcome to the ring, coming to us from Zagreb, Croatia. He brings a professional record of 21 wins, 3 defeats. 19 of his 21 wins come by way of knockout. Here is Agron Smakici.
Well, Agron Smakici gets his chance to box in the UK, and he says he's putting himself in the shop window on Saturday night. He has sparred Anthony Joshua. He has sparred Tyson Fury. In fact, he caused Tyson Fury's cut that got him to postpone his fight with Alexander Usyk, Zach.
Well, if you're mixing it with them fellas, you're doing something right, aren't you? If they're having you in camp and they use you for a spar partner for such big fights at the high calibre that they're at, then you must be able to fight.
What seems to be the pattern is when a fighter is about to fight Alexander Usyk, they bring in this man to help them prepare. He's a brilliant southpaw. He's operated largely kind of at European level, hasn't been able to make the real jump yet with a marquee win, but on Saturday night, if he's able to beat Bakhodir Jalolov, then that will most certainly be a marquee win.
Yeah, of course it will catapult his career. His stocks will raise massively, but I can understand why they use him, you know, if they're going to fight Usyk. You can see with a southpaw stance, but it's the feet and the hand speed. You can see it there.
Yeah, he's very light on his feet, isn't he?
Yeah, he's light for his feet for a big guy, and his hands seem quick as well.
Yeah, the hands seem quick. He gave Ajit Kabayal a very difficult night's work before Ajit Kabayal boxed on Riyadh season, and if he gives Jalolov a difficult night's work, it could be very interesting.
Thank you very much to Agron Smakici. And now we welcome to the ring, coming to us from Uzbekistan. He had a stellar amateur career, becoming a two-time Olympic gold medalist. And now as a professional, undefeated with 16 wins, 14 of his 16 wins come by way of knockout. Let's welcome Bakhodir, the big Uzbek Jalolov.
Here comes the double Olympic gold medalist, Bakhodir Jalolov, 6'7" Uzbek, unbeaten as a pro, and he may well be a sleeping giant in this heavyweight division.
He's not sleeping here. Look at the size of the man. Jesus Christ. I thought he looked big because he was on the stairs. He just got in the ring. He's massive.
He is absolutely huge, is Jalolov. And if you start scrolling through, you start thinking about some of the fighters, the heavyweights that are coming through. Tera Moana, Justice Hooney, guys like that. You start scrolling through their amateur career, they've all lost to him at some point.
Well, he clearly must be good then. I've seen him a few times as an amateur, but I've not really watched too much of him as a pro, but I just can't get over the size of the man. He's absolutely huge, isn't he?
He is.
Should we go Giant Love? Not Jalolov.
Giant Love. Well, let's see if we can get him to adopt that nickname. But a big chance for him on Saturday night, though. I mean, his career has been somewhat of a slow burn. He's been pro for quite a while now, but he's also been in the amateurs. So he turned pro in 2018, but at the same time, he went to Tokyo. He went to Paris. He won Olympic golds there. So it hasn't quite been his full focus.
No, so he's been very experienced. He's probably had hundreds of fights all over the world from being a very young age, and he's at the highest level, isn't it, Dev? He's been in the Olympics, so he's got his experience through the amateurs, and it's just about gaining experience now as a pro. But like we said before, he wins his fight on Saturday night, it's going to catapult his career again. You just mentioned names such as like Hune. There's massive fights for him out there.
Absolutely, and you know, he's boxing on a Frank Warren and Queensberry show on Saturday, and Queensberry very much the home of the heavyweight division right now. If you are going to make a statement, come and do it here in the UK on a Queensberry show live on DAZN. People will be watching, people will be paying attention, and they'll be saying, who was that giant Uzbek fella that got that big knockout potentially earlier on in the night?
Yeah, they're gonna follow his career from that. They're gonna want to watch the boxing on Saturday night, and he might catch their eye. He could catch their eye of thousands. He might have a back in from Manchester, going watching him all over. Who knows? But he looks dangerous.
No, he most certainly does. Bakhodir Jalolov, really one of the kind of the hipsters' choice. When people are talking about who could be the future of the heavyweight division, they're talking about, you know, the likes of Moses Itauma, Fabio Wardley. There'll always be the hipster saying, don't worry about those guys, worry about this guy, Bakhodir Jalolov.
Yeah, like you said, the sleeping giant.
Well, that sleeping giant could wake up with a big performance on Saturday night. We can't wait to see him. UK debut for Bakhodir Jalolov on the Don't Blink undercard.
Thank you very much to Bakhodir, the big Uzbek, Jalolov. Our next two fighters to the ring competing in a 12-round contest Saturday for the vacant WBA Continental Gold Welterweight Championship. We will first welcome from Nottingham, England, 22 wins, 2 defeats, 8 wins by knockout. He is a former British champion, a former 2-time European champion, and former WBO global champion. Let's welcome Ekow, the Engine Essuman.
Well, vroom, vroom. The engine has pulled up in Manchester. A huge night on Saturday for Ekow Essuman, former British champion. Won that title outright, former Commonwealth champion. Won some European belts as well. Takes on your mate, Zach Miller. He takes on Jack Rafferty.
He does. He takes on Jack, and what a fight it is for Jack and what a fight it is for Ekow. Ekow's been in the sport so many years now. He's won so many titles. He's one of the most solid pros you will see in the sport, especially in British boxing. He's been beat twice. Harry Scar, hard night's work for everyone. It was a close fight. Jack Catterall, quality fighter, probably going to win a world title this year. Ekow's far from finished. Again, longevity in the sport. He's looked after himself. Watching Nick and a man, do you know what I mean? He trains hard, he works hard, and he's ready for this, isn't he?
37 years old now, Ekow Essuman, and as you say, perhaps far from finished. Perhaps there's a few more miles on the clock of the engine, looking to bounce back from that heartbreaking loss to Jack Catterall. 11th round he was stopped in that fight, down in the 4th and then stopped in the 11th, and he'll be really looking to make a statement and show, I'm still here, guys, I can still do this. But Jack Rafferty, I'm sure, has his own plan.
Yeah, of course, Jack's got his own plan. He's moved up to welterweight now. He feels like a new man. No, he's not having to kill himself to boil down to 10 stone now, but he's got a big job in front of him in beating Ekow Essuman.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, there's been other fighters that have come up thinking maybe they're going to get Ekow Essuman at the right time. Owen Cooper thought that he was going to get him at the right time. I remember Ben Vaughan thought that he would get him as well, but something happens in there. They might think they've got the engine, but it starts purring, and he just starts running through them.
It does, mate, and like I said before, he's a quality pro. He's very well-rounded. there's no beating around the bush with Ekow. He's getting in there and he's giving it 110% every time. But listen, he's not boxed Jack Rafferty yet. This is going to be one tough task.
Yeah, it feels like this is one that could be fight of the night in terms of like their styles. Ekow Essuman likes to drag his opponents into deep water and drown them and overwhelm them. And you know what Jack Rafferty likes to do? Exactly the same.
Exactly the same. They don't call him the demolition man for nothing. He gets in there and he does demolition jobs.
Yeah. Most certainly does. Well, that is Ekow the Engine Essuman. Significant fight in his career on Saturday against Jack Rafferty.
Thank you very much to Ekow the Engine Essuman.
1, 2.
And now let's welcome to the ring from right here, Manchester, England, undefeated. 26 wins, 1 draw, 17 of his 26 wins come by way of knockout. He is a former British, Commonwealth, and WBC International Silver Champion. Let's welcome Jack the Demolition Man Rafferty.
My boy.
Your boy indeed, Zach Miller. You can hardly contain yourself. Plenty of noise actually here for Jack Rafferty. Really a Manchester man through and through.
We just need Sweet Caroline playing now and then we're in full flow,
He's looking good though, up at 147 pounds now. I mean, that weight being down at 140, it was too tight towards the end, right?
He just seems a lot happier, especially fight week.
Well, here is Ekow the Engine Essuman. Great to see you, sir. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
So tell me about this guy, Jack Rafferty. It sounds like Ekow. It's another one of these guys, younger, coming up thinking they're getting you at the right time.
Time is a funny thing. It moves differently for different people. Some people say time goes fast. Some people say time goes slow. But it doesn't matter. No man, woman, no beast.
Ooh.
Time waits for no one.
Time waits for no one. Listen, you
have to make your own time.
You're 37 years old. Yeah, you're 37 years old now. I mean, how many more miles are left in the engine?
How many more people are you going to keep throwing at me until I get my world title chance?
I like that. Coming off that fight with Jack Cattrall as well, I mean, it was a strange one, right? Because it felt like it hit you almost on the break and then it got a bit frustrating. You're chasing the fight.
Cold break twice. Yeah. He hit me 3 times afterwards at the high level. There's high level tricks. He got away with that. I should have played the game more, made a fuss of it. But you only learn certain things at certain times, and I only learned things once.
Your chance now to correct everything on Saturday night. Big win over Jack Rafferty. You're right back in the mix, aren't you, Ekow?
Yeah, I will correct things on Saturday night.
How do you see the fight playing out? Because stylistically, this just looks like a kind of like a head-on collision. He likes to take people late, drag them into deep water. You do exactly the same thing.
You're going to see how a pressure fighter beats a pressure fighter.
I look forward to it. Best of luck to you, Ekow Essuman. Great to see you, sir.
Good to see you as well, bro.
Well, we are back with the Demolition Man, Jack Rafferty. Ekow means business, I'm telling you.
Ekow does mean business, but so does that man in the ring there. So does that man.
Trained, of course, by Steve Maylett out of the finest boxing gym. Why is it such a fine boxing gym, Zach?
It's just the finest. It's just the finest. It is what it is. The actual story of that is Steve's dad had a band and it was called The Finest.
Oh, okay. I had no idea.
There you go.
I had no idea. I thought it was just a lovely name pointing to how fine it was. But fine bit of pad work here from the Demolition Man, Jack Rafferty. And, you know, we've seen some fighters tonight come in and give us a little wave, do a couple of little bits, go through it. Jack Rafferty's actually giving us a little something here, Zach.
Yeah, I'll give us something, Jack, here. Listen, he's been on fire. He's probably been the best camp we've had with him. He's been happy. It's been an happy camp. He's not been struggling making weight. There's not been anything like that. It's been strictly boxing. Boxing. He's sparred the best he's sparred. He's hitting the pads well. The weight's good. The man's flying.
The man's lying.
Thank you very much to Jack the Demolition Man Rafferty. Our next two fighters competing Saturday in a scheduled 10-round light heavyweight contest. Let's first welcome to the ring from Fulham, London, England. His professional record, 16 wins, 3 defeats, 1 draw, 8 of his 16 wins come by way of knockout. He is a former British, English, and Commonwealth champion, Chelli.
Well, a bit of a surprise late addition to this show. David Morrell, the two-time two-weight world champion, takes on Chelli. And Chelli, the English light heavyweight champion, says that this is going to be him writing a Rocky story.
Well, that's what he wants to do. He's jumped in late notice. It shows that he's a true professional, doesn't it? Because he's ready to go. He's ready to go. He's on weight and he's jumped in late notice and he's called Zach, so he must be hard.
He's called Zach, so he must be hard. Well, he is pretty hard. He is pretty hard indeed, but this is quite a leap up in levels. I believe 61, maybe 62 places separate them on box rate. David Morrell, the only time that he's been beaten is by David Benavidez, but Chelli will fancy this, and Chelli Sr., who you can see in the ring, his father, he did fancy it, because as soon as he heard David Morrell was around, he started putting out posts on social media saying, my son is the best light heavyweight and he will fight him, he will beat him.
Well, there you go. He's not just his coach, he's his dad. So he knows him better than anyone else. He probably knows him better than he knows himself. So he's jumped at the chance, hasn't he? That's why he's got his son. He's got him in nick all the time. He's got him in the gym training all the time, and that's why he can take opportunities like this.
On the back of the t-shirt, you can see it says Chelli Sauce, and a bit of trivia here. I gave him that. I gave him that little nickname a few years back. Yeah, I said, come on, Zach, you need to start sprinkling some Chelli sauce on this, at the time, super middleweight division. Why are you making that face, Zach?
That's got to be one of the best stories you've ever told me.
Yeah, it's quite good, that, isn't it?
One of the best you've ever told me.
I'm quite happy
what
with
a
that.
name it is.
Oh, I quite like it. I quite like it. But I'll tell you, in terms of, there's so many father-son relationships in our great sport, I don't think in my history of watching boxing, being around it, I've ever seen a father back their son in the way Chelli Sr. does with Chelli.
That's what you should be doing as a father. He's backing him all the way. He believes in his son, and don't get me wrong, he's mad as a box of frogs, but he must get something right because his son's won titles.
Well, I remember there was a Billy Joe Saunders press conference. I think he was about to fight Willie Monroe Jr. quite a number of years back, and somewhere near the back of the room, Chelli Sr. managed to get hold of a microphone and started calling out Billy Joe Saunders for not sparring his son. You say, why don't you spar him? Why haven't you been sparring him?
His game is a badger, isn't it? He's trying to get his son into all sorts of trouble. If we call him Daniel Dubois out in a bit,
he probably will. He probably
needs to spar his son.
No, he does spar heavyweights though, Chelli. There's videos out there of him sparring and dropping heavyweights. He's just game. He's just up for it.
He's game, innit? He's game, and he's got to be game to be wanting to fight David Morrell. Here he is.
Well, here is a man who is most certainly game and up for it. Demolition time. Jack Rafferty, how are you, sir?
Yeah, great. Sorry about that. How's
Come and stand here, sir.
Yeah.
Big moment. Big moment.
3.
Yeah. How are you feeling about this one, right?
Amazing.
I mean, Ekow Essuman up at welterweight, he's a veteran, but he says, there's other fighters that have come along and thought they've got him at the right time, and they got it wrong.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, I know what he is, I know what he brings, and not just what he brings, what a show to be a part of. Another cracker from the zone and Queensberry Promotions, and you're remembered for great fights, but you're in, and this is what this is on Saturday night. It's a great fight, and like you were saying there, he's got me at the wrong time and I've got him at the right time, and I'll have to show that Saturday night.
Well, we just had him on and he said that we're going to find out how a pressure fighter beats a pressure fighter. What would you say to that?
Let's go. He will find out, and he's going to find out the hard way, unfortunately.
Zach's been talking about how happy you've been in this camp. You've got that extra £7 to play with. Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's nice. It's been, you know, I felt the rewards of it, and I believe you wasn't seeing the best Jack Rafferty at 140. Will you see the best Jack Rafferty at 147? I believe you will, and I believe people are coming away on Saturday night thinking, wow, he is a good fighter.
Is that what we're going to be thinking, Zach?
We are, and as Ekow said, a pressure fighter beats a pressure fighter, but is Jack just a pressure fighter? I don't think he is.
What's this going to come down to then?
I think he's going to see something what he's not seen before. Like I said, listen, I put everyone on the highest pedestal they deserve, and Ekow does done some great things in boxing, but I don't believe he's seen someone like me.
Thank you very much to Zach Chelli.
Absolutely can't wait to find out with that one. I mean, in terms of Ekow, did you watch his fight with Jack Catterall, and is there anything you can take from that?
Yeah, I've seen the fight with Jack Catterall. You know, listen, Jack's fighting for the world title next. You know, I don't think there's no shame in getting beat off him. You know, Jack's a world-class operator, so there's no shame in that. Ekow's going to want to regain himself, and I've got to prove myself, and that's going to bring a battle, and I'm ready for it.
Best of luck. Absolutely can't wait for that one. Could be fight of the night. Well, let's keep things moving here at the workout. We're just about ready to head back to Thomas Triber.
And now let's welcome to the ring, coming to us from Santa Clara, Cuba. He brings a professional record of 12 wins, just 1 defeat. 9 of his 12 wins come by way of knockout. He is a former 2-time world champion, David Morrell.
Well, David Morrell may be the most accomplished fighter on this show, certainly as a professional. 2-time, 2-weight world champion. Was, of course, scheduled to fight Callum Smith a few weeks ago. Callum Smith pulled out of that fight, WBO interim light heavyweight title fight, and that left David Morrell at a bit of a loose end. Well, that loose end has been tied up Saturday night by Queensberry as he takes on Zach Chelli.
He has his in with the Chelli sauce, but just pause you there in a minute. Look at the t-shirt. Look at the throwback there.
Bow.
Look at the throwback.
Look at that, Ronaldo as well.
That is mega, unbelievable stuff.
Fair play.
No, you've got to look at it. David was meant to fight Callum Smith, and he's had to stay on it. And I'm just glad he's got his time, you know, he's got his time on such a big card, and he's got his fight that he wanted.
Yeah, look, he looks like a star as well, and he is a star. He's a big star, is David Morrell. Only the one loss on his record, and that's to David Benavidez. And by the way, that's a loss that is looking better and better. He was very competitive in that fight. He knocked down David Benavidez with a kind of cuffing right hook, and ultimately Benavidez did enough to get the decision. But when you look at what Benavidez is doing right now, how good does that look?
You've got to look at his last performance. Benavidez is an absolute monster, and Morrell arguably giving his hardest fight.
Yeah, I could go with that.
He's a very, very good operator, and I've never seen him up close and personal. He's bigger than I thought. He's very sharp, and I'm excited to see him on Saturday night.
Well, a penny for the thoughts of Zach Chelli, who's sticking around to watch his opponent on Saturday night. It's a golf in class on paper.
Yeah.
But as you know, Zach, these fights aren't fought on paper.
They're not. They're fought in the ring, and Zach's not bothered. His game, like we said, he's not bothered whether it's David Morrell or whoever it may be. He just wants to get in there and do his thing, and his game as a Badger, he's going to get in there on the night and he's going to have a tear up with him.
No, he absolutely will. I'll tell you what, David Morrell at super middleweight was, I mean, very, very heavy-handed. So many knockouts in there. Since he's moved up to light heavyweight, 3 fights there, hasn't had a stoppage yet. So wonder if the power's kind of flatlined a little bit at 175 pounds, or maybe it's just the level of opposition.
Yeah, maybe as well. Like you say, covered the level of opposition.
Thank you very much to David Morrell. Ladies and gentlemen, our highly anticipated main event this Saturday. It's Don't Blink live worldwide, exclusively on DAZN. It is scheduled for 12 rounds, and it will be for the WBO Heavyweight Championship of the World. Let's now welcome to the ring, from Greenwich, London, England, his professional record, 22 wins, 3 defeats. 21 of his 22 wins come by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the challenger, always dangerous, former IBF heavyweight champion of the world, known as Triple D, Daniel Dynamite Dubois.
Well, there he is, the former IBF World Heavyweight Champion, looking to become a 2-time world champion on Saturday night. 95% knockout rate. He's got heavy, heavy hands, and the only man to beat him recently in the last few years has been Alexander Usyk. He's a problem for Fabio Wardley, Zach.
He's a big problem, a very big problem indeed, and he's been beat off Usyk. No one can touch that man anyway. So really, if it weren't for Usyk, he's undefeated. He's going into an undefeated mindset. You can see that the way he's come back and bounced back, but honestly, he's a dangerous man, and it's in the name, Dynamite.
He is a dangerous man. Of course, there is that loss early on in his career to Joe Joyce, but he was so much younger then. He was 23 years old against a veteran who wouldn't be moved by anything, that version of Joe Joyce. No. But this Daniel Dubois, I think it's been overlooked. People are looking at those Usyk fights, but they're forgetting the Miller fight, the Hrgovic fight, the Joshua fight. He was underdog in at least 2 of those fights. Hrgovic was unbeaten. He stopped him. Miller was unbeaten. He stopped him. Anthony Joshua had Wembley Stadium behind him. And, well, goodness me, Daniel Dubois put on a statement that night.
Yeah, the names like you've just reeled off there, the world-class operators. Daniel's been at a massive level for these years, and I bet he can't wait for Saturday night.
Thank you very much to Triple D, Daniel Dynamite Dubois. And now let's welcome to the ring, from Ipswich, England, undefeated with 20 wins. He has 1 draw. 19 of his 20 wins come by way of knockout. This Saturday, in his first world title defense, let's welcome the undefeated, hard-hitting, reigning and defending heavyweight world champion. And he has yet to make his way to the ring, but now he's on his way. Fabio Wardley.
Well, here comes the defending world champion, who seems to be standing taller, seems to have a spring in his step since becoming WBO World Heavyweight Champion, the one and only, the undefeated Fabio Wardley.
He should have a spring in his step. He's world champ. He's world champ. He should feel unbeatable at the minute, and I bet he does. He's going in there for a massive fight against Daniel Dubois. I like the way the Dubois team are all at the side of the ring lined up. I like it.
Lined up, they are watching. Daniel Dubois is watching Fabio Wardley. I'm not sure what we're going to get workout-wise, but I like that. It's like stalking his prey almost there with Daniel Dubois. But I tell you who won't be bothered, Fabio Wardley.
No, Fabio Wardley won't be bothered. No matter if there was 100 of them stood at the side of the ring, he won't mind. There's going to be 23,500 in there on Saturday night. He don't mind who's outside that ring as long as him and Daniel are in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Cannot wait for this one. Perhaps the best titled show in recent memory. Don't blink. As we've mentioned, Fabio Wardley's fights go an average of 3.9 rounds. Daniel Dubois' fights go an average of 4 rounds. It's very, very likely that this fight will go very quickly on Saturday night. And it looks like Daniel Dubois is still pacing back and forth. There's Fabio Wardley in there.
Yeah, these open workouts, they get the adrenaline going. You're seeing your opponent He's working out a little bit.
I love it. Daniel's shadow boxing. Whilst Fabio is shadow boxing inside the ring, Daniel Dubois is shadow boxing outside the ring, almost continuing his workout, Zach.
Yeah, he's continuing it. He's having a little flick out of the hands and that, but listen, it's getting you riled up. You're seeing your opponent again, you know, you're with each other all fight week, but it just builds and builds and builds towards Saturday night.
I'll tell you what, I think if Daniel had his way, he'd get in there and have the fight right now.
I think Fabio would wave him in.
And you can see Fabio Wardley there in the Ipswich, the newly promoted Ipswich, of course. Things are looking good for Ipswich and for Fabio.
Yeah, he's going to want to keep the momentum. He's going to want to keep building.
Well, it's some momentum that Fabio Wardley has got, of course, coming off a brilliant win over Joseph Parker, a fight in which he was the underdog. He was behind in the fight, and like he does, come from behind, stoppage win, best win of his career, a signature win over Joseph Parker, which picked up that interim crown, later upgraded to full heavyweight champion.
Yeah, a lot of people just look at the knockouts of these fellas, you know. They look at the power of them, but I believe they both got a great boxing IQ. They can both box when they want to. They both got a quality jab. But like we say, you can't go away from that power, and don't blink.
Yeah, don't blink. I'll tell you what, it's a fascinating story in that Fabio, as you say, look, he hasn't done it the conventional way, hasn't gone through the amateurs or anything like that. And it comes to every press conference with every opponent. You look at someone like Justice Hooney, done so much in the amateurs, and these guys should be beating him. But they can't. They just can't. They might be ahead, but at some point, he's got the punch to turn everything around. But when does that go away, Zach? When is it that, you know, Daniel Dubois started boxing at 7 years old? When does that count?
Does it count? Does it go away? He's Wardley, naturally talented, but you don't become world champion without working hard. And that's what he's done. Whether he's not come the conventional way or what he's done, but he's worked hard, and that's why he's here now.
He absolutely has. And it was Justice Hooney, that fight at Ipswich, at Portman Road, where Hooney, I mean, he was running away with the fight. Eddie Hearn and everyone, Spencer Brown, they were ringside, they were watching on, and they thought that Hooney was going to get the decision, but it didn't come to that, because Fabio Wardley landed the one shot, that golden bullet that he's got, and stopped him.
Yeah, he threw that equaliser, didn't he? And he's got it, and in the back of his mind, he knows he's got that there.
Yeah, but it must be such a good feeling, Zach, knowing that. All right, you're back you're behind in a fight. Don't worry, watch this.
Dev, I wish I had that equaliser. I have to do 12.
But you tend to win, Zach. You outgrind them.
I do.
This is one of Fabio Wardley's proteges as well, who will feature on the show on Saturday night, and Fabio is a co-manager, and I spoke with Fabio about this, about how he started giving back, and you know, he's almost like becoming a recruiter again, because he's bringing these guys through, he's getting them little slots here and there, and look, recruiter's going to recruit. He's just got that in him.
Yeah, he's clearly good at it. He's clearly good at recruiting. Yeah. But like I say, he can fight as well.
Most certainly can fight as well. On the pads there with Rob Hodgkins, you can see the rest of the team in the background. Ben Davison, and Ben Davison gets a second shot here at Daniel Dubois. Of course, he was in the corner with Anthony Joshua. I wonder if there were any learnings that night. There was a moment where Joshua had just a little bit of success, but Dubois turned it around.
Yeah, I know it's a different fighter, but Ben's going to want to get one over on Don. Yeah. One of them, innit? It's coach against coach, it's mindset against mindset, tactics, you know. But I can't see it going late on, Dev. I can just see a knockout. Yeah. I can just see a knockout. It's just brewing.
It most certainly is brewing. Fantastic fight. I love that the WBO World Heavyweight title's on the line. Two Brits colliding for the world title. It just sprinkles something special into it. When two Brits collide with the World Heavyweight Championship on the line, you know you've got something special.
No, you do. When two Brits collide in a central area, in an English title, in a British title, it's always a good fight. And you've got them here at the pinnacle of the sport, both fighting for a world title.
Daniel Dubois still ringside, still watching on. You know, it's interesting because you do see some fighters walk off. I thought if anyone would have walked off and not watched their opponent, it would be Daniel Dubois. But he is sticking around. He is soaking in every moment here. And I wonder if there is any eye contact between them. You can see Fabio Wardley looking outside of the ring as Daniel continues his shadow boxing.
Yeah, he's sticking around. The full team are sticking around. They're watching on. They're having a little look. Fabio's not giving us anything. He's having a laugh. Look, he's having a laugh there. He's just doing 95 uppercuts.
We are now days away from the big one. Saturday night, live around the world on DAZN from the Co-op Live here in Manchester. Fabio Wardley, the unbeaten, heavy-handed man you can watch on your screen right now in that Ipswich top, makes the first defence of his crown against Daniel Dynamite Dubois. It is very simply one of the most anticipated heavyweight showdowns in recent years.
It is, and you've got to take your hat off to both men for taking the fight. Fabio, first defence, what a fight it is.
There are so many fighters who become world champion or just any kind of champion and they think, right, I'm good now, let me just have a little tick over, let me have an easy one, let me have a look down those rankings and go towards the bottom of it, find someone who maybe I can just go and knock out and tell everyone how good he is, but you know they're not that great. Fabio Wardley, he decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out the most dangerous opponent available. That man hits just as hard as him. That man is Daniel Dynamite Dubois. I commend both of them, Zach.
You've got to take it off to both of them. True warriors.
Daniel Dubois, of course, looking to bounce back from that heartbreaking loss at Wembley Stadium to Alexander Usyk, to the great Alexander Usyk. He was stopped in that fight. Will he have demons going into this fight? I'll tell you, just on that, when Daniel lost to Alexander Usyk the first time, the first fight that he took back was against Jarrell Miller. He threw himself right in it. And now he's throwing himself in against that man, Fabio Wardley.
Yeah, it shows the mindset again. He works hard for this, and he's not training as hard as he trains to go in there and box someone who's not the calibre he wants to box. He's getting in there and he's fighting the best. You've got to respect that.
You have to respect that. Both monsters.
Here it goes a little something like this.
Fabio's feeling himself. He's getting into this. I think this is a bit of Run DMC here, Zach.
Yeah, they put a bit on here. There'll be two-stepping in a minute.
He will be two-stepping.
I reckon Fabio's got a couple of moves up his sleeve, to be honest with you.
I think almost certainly. It looks like he can do everything else. He can fight, he can recruit.
He can recruit.
Yeah, I've heard he was a very successful recruiter as well.
He's recruited a big, massive right hand as well.
He has, but he don't want to be taking one from Daniel Dubois on Saturday. Let me tell you this, Fabio Wardley has this habit sometimes of starting slow in fights. We saw that against Nathan Gorman, against Nick Webb, and it kind of wakes him up, and suddenly he takes over.
World champion,
I don't think he can do that against Daniel Dubois. I don't think you can afford to start slow and cop a few from Dubois on Saturday.
No, I don't think you can cop one, never mind a few. It's one of them fights where you can't afford to take any punishment.
Ladies and gentlemen, our highly anticipated main event this Saturday, live, worldwide, exclusively on DAZN. It's 12 rounds scheduled for the WBO Heavyweight Championship of the World. And now we are going to have the challenger, Triple D, Daniel Dynamite Dubois, face off with the defending world champion, Fabio Wardley.
1-2.
Well, this is intense. Fabio Wardley, Daniel Dubois, WBO World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Don't blink. And by the way, neither are they.
None of them are blinking, Dev. It's intense. It's very intense. You can see it firsthand here. It's intense.
Well, that is why Daniel Dubois stuck around. He watched the entirety of Fabio Wardley's workout, and now he's got in, and they are facing off ahead of their clash on Saturday night. This one's so good, Zach.
It's a very good fight. It's a very big fight. World Championship on the line, 2 British heavyweights. It's absolutely quality.
95% knockout rate against 95% knockout rate Saturday night, live on DAZN.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this the main event Saturday. Don't blink. Live worldwide, exclusively on DAZN. Buy now at DAZN.com.
That is the best face-off that they've done, and they've done a few now. There was the launch press conference, of course. They did one on, I think it was the Moses Italma show. They got in the ring, but that one, nose to nose, Zach, they didn't want to look away.
No words exchanged, but you know they'd have been having a look. The feel would have been there. It was intense, and you're getting that big fight week feeling.
We didn't get the fist bump kind of handshake thing. Did you see that when they did that the first time?
Yeah.
Who was that a mental victory for?
Who knows? Who takes that away? It's whether you take that away with it or not, but I've just got that fight week feeling, me, Deb. It's great.
100%. You can feel it. There's something in the air. I know it's a bit cold here, but you can certainly feel there's something in the air when you've got two guys where you know the fight could end like that in an instant. And I feel like there's a growing kind of intensity between them, like a tension between them. It's not friendly. This isn't, you know, we saw Derek Chisora and Deontay Wilder recently, and that was very friendly. They were talking about, I love you, bro, even during the fight. There's no love lost between those two.
There isn't. Don't get me wrong, they're being respectful. They're both true professionals, as we say, but it's not going to be friendly in there. You can see it, and it's going to brew all week, this.
Yeah, I think so as well. And, you know, we've seen some tense moments with Daniel Dubois and the media this week as well. He's been very much in fight mode. If he doesn't like what you're saying to him, he ain't going to listen to it. Fabio Wardley, he's that kind of guy that he's almost got this regal air to him now as a world champion as well. Two very different kind of characters, but I think it mixes so well.
Yeah, he's just Mr. Nice Guy until he gets in there, but Daniel Dubois, the no-nonsense type of guy. If you don't like to hear something, he won't entertain it. And I like that about him. You've got to take that from him.
Yeah, I like that about him as well. And with Fabio Wardley, I mean, he's the unbeaten one. Tell me on this. I've been thinking, right, Daniel Dubois is the only man amongst these two who has tasted defeat at some point in his career. Joe Joyce and the 2 losses to Usyk. Fabio Wardley hasn't tasted defeat. How does that affect the mentality?
Yeah, well, Fabio don't know what it feels like. He's never had that feeling. Daniel has, but you've got to look at the way Daniel's come back. He's brushed it off, he's come back, and he's had some fantastic wins since. So, who knows, Daniel might feel like he's still an undefeated fighter. I know I do, in my circumstance. It's one of them. It's a sport. You get winners, you get losers, but Fabio's got to think to himself, no one's taking this home.
Yeah, well, that's what Daniel keeps saying. He actually said that Fabio's been lucky that he hasn't run into him yet, and that he's going to take his own. I guess what I'm pointing to with the regard to the coming over a loss, you lost a close fight on points, right? A fight that some feel maybe could have gone your way. Daniel Dubois has been stopped, he's been hurt, so he's had to deal with that, live with that hurt, and he'll know it's a pain that he won't want to feel again.
Setbacks in life, not just in boxing, they make you a stronger person. Has that made Daniel stronger? I believe it probably has. I believe it has. The man looks focused, the man trains immensely hard, and he's going to want to get in there on Saturday night and prove the doubters wrong.
What's your prediction, Zach? I haven't even asked you yet. Come on.
My prediction. I might just sit on this fence here a little bit. I think I might just sit on this fence.
You were saying earlier you're happy for either of them to punch you, so surely now's the time to really test that.
Well, I'll tell you, it's harder. Get them both back in there, and it's easy saying it now they've walked off in it, but get them both back in there and let's just feel one, I'll let you know.
Good man. Zach, absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And thank you. That was the workout. Fight week has just begun. We've just seen an almighty, quite epic face-off there between Fabio Wardley, the champion, and the challenger, Daniel Dynamite Dubois. Make sure you join us tomorrow for the press conference as we count down to Saturday night, the WBO World Heavyweight Championship on the line. And just remember this, wherever you are, whatever you do, on Saturday, don't blink.
Don't let your guard down. Don't get distracted. Don't blink.
I told you, don't blink.